everybody, welcome to the Clean Comedy Podcast. Today we have one of my favorite people. He's the second cleanest comedian in Colorado. He's the founder organizer of the Vail Comedy Show and Vail Comedy Festival. He puts on about 75 shows a year in Colorado and tours nationally. And if you want him to, he'll come out and do your show. So you just got to reach out to him. But please welcome my good friend, the very funny, the very talented, the guy who's always going, Mr. Mark Masters.
Thanks, James. It's awesome. Yeah, I'll do your show. Markmasters.co, couldn'taffordthe.com. There's a contact form. I'll get back to you within seconds.
Yeah,
Oftentimes. Unless I'm recording with James, then it doesn't happen. And thank you for the shout out on the comedy festival, vailcomedyfestival.com. Every Memorial Day weekend, May 24 through 26 in 2024. Coming out to Vail. It's a beautiful place, 30 plus comedians. You can't go wrong.
And just so you guys know, Mark puts on a great show. My buddy David Studebaker went out there. He did a show there with Mark. He had nothing but amazing things to say about you and about the shows.
Yeah, David, run. Super funny guy. We did the run. We did my favorite room, which is in Eagle, Colorado. Shout out to Moe's Barbecue. Shouldn't be a great space for comedy, a barbecue restaurant, but that room it's magic.
Are you kidding? Do you know what my dream is? I don't know if I've ever told you this.
No.
My dream is to own a barbecue and comedy joint. Like legitimately, I'm not kidding.
Amazing.
So like, yeah, it totally could be a great
amazing.
Place.
Yeah, it's so funny when I walk in the headliners. You know, it's like dinner rush, and I put them back into kind of like a glorified green room area. And they're like, "Wait, where's the show? I don't get it." And I'm like, "Well, the stage is kind of going to be over there." And then they come back an hour and a half later, and like, all the tables are gone. We got professional lighting. We got a stage. We got a backdrop. We got banners. We got highlight lights, or what do you call accent lights? We got like a professional sound system that we've been selling so many tickets. Now I have a remote speaker for the back of the room. Anytime we have over 90 people, we need that. And yeah, just it's a great place. And it's just the people of Eagle. They're incredible. Eagle, Colorado, I love you. You're the best.
Perfect. Yeah, I was going to name my place Q and Comedy. So CUE for the Q bar.
Yeah.
And comedy. It's a barbecue joint with this comedy. We do comedy upstairs.
Did you consider comedy? Was that not a good idea?
Yeah, I didn't like that one. That would seem like it would be a bad idea.
With a silent E in there, like CUEMEDY. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good transition to mfcomedy.com, which is unintentionally, I don't know if people out there will pick up on this, but MF Comedy is where you find information about Mountain Fresh Comedy Festival, which is a new thing I'm starting in October, which is, despite the name MF Comedy, a clean event. So I don't know what the deal is, why there aren't any clean comedy festivals. And I think I know, do you know of one? Go ahead.
Joe Byers just started one this year. Joe Byers started one in Georgia. The first one I think is just happening like this week or something.
When does it? I know Joel. I gotta call him. When does it happen? Do you know?
I think like so we're recording early, guys, so it'll be out later. But
yeah,
I think it's the beginning of April, end of.
Oh,
yeah, I think.
Yeah, I gotta call him and see how it went. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, there is one that kind of has like a not sterling reputation. They take a lot of money from comics. It's not really a festival. It's more like a
competition.
Yeah, it is yeah, exactly. So that doesn't really count as a festival where, you know, what I'm trying to do is give an opportunity for comics to work on like late night material, you know, like where can they go? And then the headliners we have been on late night TV. So hopefully one of my favorite things about festivals is getting lots of comics together and they kind of teach each other things. All the comics are sponges, and you got the people who have been on late night TV, you got the people aspiring to be on late night TV, and there's that flow of information.
Now, will this be at clubs or is this at different venues?
So just like the rooms that David Studebaker did and spoke highly of. And the thing that's going to be unique about this festival, for me, I run the Vail Comedy Festival. That's like 10 venues, all within walking distance, very concentrated. This is going to be in multiple different towns. So we're going to have like comedy buses driving comics from town A to town B, and possibly in the best version of this, on the same night. Like if you live in town A, you'll get to see a crop of comedians at an early show, and then at the late show, it'll be all new comedians because we're gonna like ships in the night pass each other. Those details haven't been all worked out. I know I can figure that out because I run so many shows. What I'm worried about is attracting good, talented, clean comedians to Colorado for a festival. That's the hardest thing. Submissions are open now.
Because
mfcomedy.com.
that's the crazy part is like, okay, so you take all comedians, then you
Yep.
cut that down to just clean comedians, then you
Yeah.
take that down to clean comedians prepared to do whatever, and that can come to your festival.
Yeah.
That window, that is a very small
Yeah.
window.
Call that last one good. So we go
Yeah,
all comedians to clean comedians to good
good
clean
clean
comedians.
comedians.
The problem with good clean comedians is they make too much money. You were just telling me a story about making money doing old people's homes.
Yeah.
Good clean comedians, they make good money. Once people start making money, they tend to stop going to festivals. Maybe they'll go to, I mean, my goal is to make this prestigious enough that people would want to come to the festival, even if they're making good money, because generally festivals are kind of money pits.
Do you have like are you gonna do like a podcast area or anything like that?
I
mean,
would love to have.
I don't know if you know if there's like a clean
Yeah, the Clean
podcast
Comedy
around.
Podcast. That would be great. You should come out.
All right.
I mean, certainly, like if you apply and get into the festival, we'll 100% have you. But probably just let's talk later. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I mean, we have the Vail Comedy Festival. We've really upped our podcast game. The first year we had just kind of like random podcasts from comedians that were on the festival. Last year we had the Hippie Not Hippie podcast come up and just take over the weekend. They interviewed all the headliners. And then this year we're flying in. They're local to Colorado. This year we're flying in a New York City podcast, The Great Hang, with Mike and Tim, and or the Great Hang podcast. And so, yeah, I'm all about festivals and podcasts. I love it.
Dude, there you go. That's perfect. I mean, the Clean Comedy Podcast, we are the clean podcast, and we're the #1 clean comedy podcast out there. So, well,
yeah,
I am. I guess it's
I love it.
I don't know.
So let me ask you a question. Have you ever run into a situation where you've seen or you have personally marketed a clean comedy show and the butts and seats, the audience, if you will, has not responded well to a clean comedy show?
I have seen that happen. That does happen. Where if you market it as clean, people go, it's not going to be funny. Because here's the problem: you like what you said, there are clean comedians, and then there are good clean comedians. And as my good friend Paul Douglas Moonjean will always say, a lot of clean comedians get by doing like, you know, terrible church style jokes that are like, oh, my life is whatever, and then what it's just like very terrible comedy that lasted for a long time. But because it was clean, you could do it at churches and whatever, and it was not offensive, but it was also not anything special. And so
Yeah.
it got this stigma. Now, thanks to Dry Bar, I think that's a big different stigma. I think the stigma is now, oh, dang, there are some legit, like Dwayne Perkins has a clean comedy special, and like you start getting people that have big names doing clean comedy specials. I think that's where you're gonna get.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. There's definitely an audience that wants clean comedy. You know, the church crowd, for whatever reason, they're seeking it out. But that's a minority. Most of the people out there, they just stumble onto comedy randomly. And those people that are about to stumble into a comedy show, if they hear it's clean, sometimes they stumble right out because they think they don't like clean comedy. But these are the same people that would go to a mega arena and see Nate Bargatze, think it was hilarious, and you'd ask him, what did you think of the clean comedy show? They'd say, oh, I didn't go to a clean comedy show. I saw Nate Bargatze. He was super funny.
Yeah, or Jim Gaffigan or Brian Regan or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, eventually they'd be like, oh, you know what? I don't think he swore. Oh, he also didn't talk about, wow, oh my goodness, that was hilarious and it was clean. So that's a little bit of a problem. I'm gonna have to call Joel and ask him how things went for him, because my feeling is I'm not going to market it to the consumer, to the ticket buyers, as a clean festival. To the comedians, they need to know we're like, you know, PG-13, somewhere in there. If you can do it on late night, you can definitely do it at the Mountain Fresh Comedy Festival. And the name kind of implies it's fresh, it's clean. I don't know. But I don't think, I think it would be a mistake for me trying to put butts in seats to tell people, there it is, the Joel Byers clean, boy, putting his name right in there, really?
Oh no, he's a boss about marketing, bro. Like, I love Joel.
Okay, yeah, that's a move.
So he threw clean comedy in there. Like, that's how I knew it was there. I was like, oh yeah, this
who's in that picture? Anybody big?
I know, well, Joel obviously, but I have to go back to him. He had a pretty big list. Nobody huge. I was hoping that he was going to have like somebody like Joel, Jeremy Messi, who I don't know,
Yeah. Let's not
Holly
worry about that.
Valentine.
Here, when you come to Mountain Fresh Comedy Festival, I can tell you this: we're going to have a regular opener for Brian Regan and Nate Bargatze as headliners at the festival. You're going to see some really terrific
I
clean
know that.
comedy.
I know
You're
that
also going to
guy.
see some up and coming comics. They're going to be doing shorter sets. That's easier. They're gonna crush. They're going to be really good. We've already gotten some outstanding submissions, which I'm really happy about.
Is the
Uh,
guy that you're talking about, the headliner guy that's going to be that was the opener for them? Is he also a superhero by chance?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that could be one of them. I'm not revealing names, but if you happen to look at his tour schedule, he might be in Colorado that weekend already. So yeah,
He's a great
there's
guy, by the way, just so
yeah,
everybody knows.
terrific, super,
And he's
super.
been on the podcast, and he's been
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, clean comedy. I don't know if it works. I'm gonna have to call Joel. I wonder if how that how it went for him financially. Like I'll tell you, I run the Vail Comedy Festival. We have a 5-figure budget. Like it's huge. I spend 5 figures just on hotel rooms.
Wow.
And if I don't sell, like right now, I'm in the whole 5 figures for sure on paper. Now, as past sales go up, we'll break even hopefully, be close to break even by the time the festival's all everything's said and done and all the merch is sold and walk up tickets, etc. But this, I feel like the Clean Comedy Festival is more of a risk.
I agree. I would think that it is exactly a risk. Here's a question I have for you about I guess the Vail Festival, or you're running the festival. So you know what your budget is or what you're set out to do. Are you making money back, or are you always just short a little bit every single year? Like, what's the kind of you don't have to be like clear, but
Yeah,
just
I get the question. We made money last year,
okay, good.
thank
There you go.
goodness.
Yeah.
But it was but not as of the Friday that the festival started. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We were still in the hole. It
Wow.
wasn't until the end of the weekend
When
that
do
that
you
we.
start sweating? Like, when are you sweating? Like, looking at your
I
credit
don't.
card
I mean,
statement or whatever.
honestly, like to me right now, I don't stress about money in comedy, and I've worked with I book like 500 comics a year, and
Wow.
some of them are very stressed about money, and some of them, the majority, are just like, you know what, I'm here to have a great experience, and those are the comics, by the way, they get rebooked. It's
Yeah.
not that you shouldn't care about money, but like I just worked with a comic who has a new album on Sirius XM and a special on YouTube. Hilarious. He didn't ask how much he was getting paid, how much time he was getting. He just came out. He did well. He was grateful for the time. And compare that to, I had another comic on the same run who's, basically an open micer, asked like 50 questions, wanted favors from me. It was bothering me when I was very busy trying to put on a show. And that kid is in timeout for a year. I'm not going to book him for a whole year. Maybe he'll figure things out in the next year. But this other guy, I'd love to work with again. So anyways, the point is, money and comedy for me, it's very wishy washy at this point. Like we said up top, yes, I'll do your show. There are situations I'm finally getting to a point where I need to say no to things. Sometimes I'm getting very high paying stuff that's easy, which is nice, and that's kind of my goal. And I hope the Vail Comedy Festival eventually prints money, and it's obvious to everybody that I'm making a ton of money. And they might be sore about it, but they won't remember that in the beginning I took huge risks and worked around the clock tirelessly to get it off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. This dude went out and had to put up big signs in the wind that were ripping down and what? Yeah. Yeah. Come on, guys. Like,
Yeah, I had to
Mark
coordinate with the
Martin's
Colorado Department of Transportation on the
station.
highway signage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just drove those signs. They're really sad looking. I need to order new ones for next year. I just
Now,
drove them up to Vail this last run in my roof box.
did you get a new car yet? I know you were talking about that at one point. Did you get a new car yet?
I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm still my day-to-day driver is my old and reliable. I have a new joke about it that I
Okay.
drive an old car and it's got, gosh, why am I 323,000 miles. It's tricky
Wow.
because I told the joke's like a month old and I told it a bunch of times while it was 322, but then I ticked over to 323, and like now it's like hard because it's like hardwired into my brain that my car will forever have 322,000 miles, but it has 323,000 miles. It's a good car. Good car.
Wow. It's a
Yeah.
Subaru, right? Is it like a Subaru?
Yeah, I try not to say what my car is just so that
Sorry.
because sometimes I sleep in it on the road and
Wow.
So yeah,
Sorry, Mark.
it's
I'll
okay.
delete this out.
Yeah, you
So
don't
the
have.
Mountain Fresh Comedy Festival, where is that going to be at? Is it going to be in Vail as well? Is it going to be somewhere
It's going to
different?
be in beautiful places all around Colorado.
Okay, so just all.
I just talked to a venue today in Denver, so we might have some shows in Denver. Other towns that are very likely are Frisco, Colorado, Breckenridge, Colorado, Vail, Colorado, Eagle, Colorado. All beautiful places, all places with great audiences that I already have developed and rooms ready to have great comedy shows at. So if you're a comic interested in applying, the submissions are open until July 4th, and you're going to get some great stage time. I can promise you.
And when is the actual festival days? Like, what are the? You may not have
October 10th through 13th.
Is that snow season?
mfcomedy.com has it for sure. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Wow.
and I'm not sure we're going to do 4 days. But the time to block off would be October 10th through 13th.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
And is that snowy season there? I don't know anything about Colorado.
No, that's another nice thing. The Vail Comedy Festival, which happens Memorial Day weekend, you might think I can't afford to go to Vail, and you're probably right. On New Year's Eve, you can't afford to go to Vail, even if you're killing it in life. You would not believe like a dumpy hotel room is 4 figures easy. But during Memorial Day weekend, it's off season. The mountains are closed. It's not summer yet. The ski mountains. Ski season is over, but summer hasn't started. They call it shoulder season if you're looking at a chart of revenue or visits, etc. And things are cheap. You can get cheaper food, cheaper hotel rooms. There is something new this year. I'm not sure what's going to happen with it. The same weekend as the Vail Comedy Festival, there's a bluegrass festival that's free. So all day, if you're into bluegrass, you can watch great bluegrass acts. It's called Spring Free Bluegrass Festival, Spring Forward Bluegrass Festival, something like that. You can find it online. Look up Bluegrass Vail Spring, and that's going to draw a lot of people to town, and that might bump up hotel prices. So the move is go get your pass right now and book the hotel room before the hotels realize that this Memorial Day weekend might be busier than last Memorial Day weekend.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
And is there a fee to submit to the?
It's $25.
Oh, geez,
$25 to apply, which
and
is pretty reasonable. I kind of did that on purpose. The Vail Comedy Festival is a little more expensive.
Yeah.
The fee ranges over time and it goes up. If you want to apply to that, set a reminder right now, November 1st. That's the cheapest it's going to be the whole submission season, and it goes until Valentine's Day. And at the end, it's like $40 or $50 to apply. At this point, Vail Comedy Festival, it's off the ground. It has a brand. It's established and maybe has some prestige around it. So I feel like we have that pricing power. And frankly, it reduces the submissions. We get so many submissions, and I have this whole panel of industry professionals that review the videos. Like we need less submissions. With the Mountain Fresh Clean Comedy Festival, which is something brand new, I want more submissions. So $25. You know what? I'll just say it right here too. If you look me up online, markmasters.co, you send me a polite message and explain that you, I mean, honestly, this is a dumb idea. I was going to say that you have a hardship. I'll give you a cheaper submission fee. But the reality is, if you can't afford the $25 to apply, you're not going to be able to afford the plane ticket to come out, and you're going to be miserable anyways, eating saltine crackers and stuff. I'm not saying we don't want people who are barely making it, but
you got to put a little investment in yourself. Yeah, you got to invest.
Yeah, exactly. So the $25 I think is a totally reasonable, pretty cheap. Would you say that's cheap in the range of?
Yeah, 100%. I was like, wow, that's great. Is it only going to be stand up, or do you plan on expanding the festival to do like movies or improv or sketch or anything like that, or is that not something you plan on ever doing?
Definitely not improv or sketch. Sometimes comedians have like a one-man show, or they worked on a documentary film or something like that. And when that happens, sometimes we'll do special events, but I think it's probably 100% stand-up.
Gotcha. Okay, that's cool. Now, another question that I'm hoping you're going to say yes to, which you're probably not going to. Are you going to write a book about how to produce comedy festivals? Because you seem like to be the guy to do it. You might have even been able to save JFL if they would have asked you, I think.
Yeah, we're, by the way, Vail Comedy Festival, more solvent than JFL. Very proud of that. Not as prestigious, but more solvent for sure. We had somebody, one of the comedians who got into this year's festival said, I went to JFL and they had really good bagels. And I said, hey buddy, I'm sorry, we don't have bagels, but we're more solvent than JFL. So this thing is happening. Which is why we're able to take this huge nosedive in money, because there's anyways. The question was about the book. Well, if this is your first time hearing the old voice of Mark Masters, super funny, Colorado's second cleanest comedian, you might not know that I already wrote a book. It's called Not Good Yet. James knows all about it.
Love it.
Notgoodyet.com has info. It's great. If you're getting into comedy, it will help you out. It's got 5 stars on Amazon because of that. And it was about my first 6 months of comedy, which is a bold move. A bold move to write a book after 6 months in comedy. But I'm coming up on 6 years in comedy, James. And one of the chapters in my book, Not Good Yet, is about running my first comedy show and the lessons I learned and how you can run a comedy show. First 6 months was the first book. I'm thinking the first 6 years will be the second book. And for sure, there'll be some content about running a comedy festival, especially now that, hopefully this doesn't happen, but if this new festival doesn't do well, those stories are always more interesting.
Those are great.
That are fun. And that's why that first 6 months is such a good story, because I'm failing all the time. It's just constant failure. But the Vail Comedy Festival it's definitely, we've made some mistakes, but overall it's been pretty successful. The Mountain Fresh Comedy Festival, I have no idea if it's going to go well. If I had to guess, actually, I'd say right now it's not going super well. We've been open for like a month on submissions. There haven't been a lot, and I'm wondering if I kind of just misread the market for clean comedians that are good who want to do a comedy festival in Colorado. But now that we're on the Clean Comedy podcast, I'm expecting, call Elon Musk. We're firing up the boosters.
Yeah, we're going.
Everybody apply. mfcomedy.com.
Yeah, and if you send me something to post on Instagram or whatever and stuff, I'll start shooting that stuff out, and I'll get. I'm gonna ask Paul to do some things. So that's good. That's a good way to go.
Yeah.
The new book is gonna be called Good Enough. Like, I don't know.
I'll tell you off air. I already know what it's going to be called.
Okay.
But I don't want somebody to steal the website.
No. Yeah. Don't do that.
Or write a book or a movie with that same title. I doubt they would. It's not that great a title, but it is in that theme.
Right. That's awesome. Was there anything else that you want to promote? Anything else that you want everyone to know and get out there and stuff?
It's probably too late, but tomorrow I fly to Boston and I'm doing 13 shows in 10 nights all around New England. If you missed this round or you don't live in New England, I'll probably be, if you live in the middle of nowhere, Montana, South Dakota, Wyoming, North Dakota, I will probably be in your neck of the woods in the next year. Just go to markmasters.co. There's a way to follow all my tour dates and join. Oh, how about my newsletter? Today I sent out my newsletter.
I didn't get to read it yet before the podcast, but I did see it.
Okay. Yeah, it's great. This month was great. All kinds of fails. I failed on business cards. I ordered new business cards. When I got into comedy, I got some business cards, not realizing that wasn't cool. You're not supposed to have comedy. You're not supposed to have business cards. Now that I'm far enough along, they're super valuable. I use them all the time for getting new venues, etc. But I bought, they're cheaper the more you buy. So I bought a ton of them. And at the time I thought, for sure, I will not be doing comedy and have to throw these away at some point. But I ran out of them recently. I had to order new ones, made a huge, in my monthly newsletter, I have like a fail of the month. And my fail of March 2024 was a mistake in the design of my business cards. You'll have to read the newsletter to find out more. But anyways, I got a ton of them, had to double. So that was a double order of my original order 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago. And then because of the mistake, I now have 4 times as many business cards. So the point is, if you see me in person, say something nice, ask for 12 business cards and start a fire with them. I have so many business cards. I can wallpaper homes with my business cards. Yeah. So to get to the newsletter, by the way, markmasters.co/#newsletter. Boy, was that confusing. Just go to markmasters.co and look for sign up for the newsletter. I'd love to have more people. I just tell the store once a month. I send out an email with the stories of things.
They're always so good. They're always so good and inspirational.
Thanks,
if you guys aren't reading them, I read them. I just tell Mark when we got on, I read them and I go, good for you, Mark. And I go, man, I suck at comedy. Like those are the two things that I deal with.
There's plenty of mistakes I'm making all the time. So
Like, dude, you're booked all the time. I'm like loving it. You're so passionate. You're so doing everything. I'm like, man, I need that drive. I like it's I don't know,
yeah,
too many things. I do too many things. So
I'm trying. I'm trying out there. Check out VailComedyShow.com, LodoComedy.com if you're in the Denver area. I run shows in Breckenridge and Frisco and Aurora and all over Colorado, and I'm all over the country. When I try to compress all the shows I run into 1 week a month, and then so that gives me 3 weeks a month to do other stuff. So
smart.
yeah.
See, this you got to write a business book. The business of comedy. Mark Masters knows everything about it. He's running stuff. That's what I'm talking
Well,
about.
my accountant wouldn't say that, which which is a good joke because I can't afford an accountant. If I did, he'd say I'm the best non-profitable business he's ever seen.
Just make it a nonprofit. Just make yourself a nonprofit. You're good to go. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, exactly. All right, Jane, this is always fun. Thank you so much for having me on the Clean Comedy Podcast. And one more time, everybody, mfcomedy.com for the Mountain Fresh Comedy Festival coming October 2024 to the mountains of Colorado. Right now, we're looking for comedians to submit to the festival. Get your best 5-minute tape, send it over. It'll be reviewed by a panel of industry professionals, and you'll hear back from us. Oh, here's the last thing.
Yeah,
If I can
please.
sneak this in as a postscript, this is really fun, and it's kind of a secret, so here's an exclusive. When you apply to Vail Comedy Festival, and if you don't get in, you get the nicest email in the world because I just got rejected from a comedy festival in the last week. And it broke my heart a little bit, but that's part of comedy rejection. You got to deal with it. And so when I have to reject all these comedians, many that I know and I've met on the road, it hurts me. So like I try to be as nice as possible and offer opportunities. And one of the things I offer is a free video review. And what that means is it's just 10-minute Zoom call. I watch your 5-minute video for the first time because I don't have anything to do with who gets in and who doesn't get in
Right.
other than the messenger. And you watch me watch the video and I give you 5 minutes of feedback afterwards. And people have said it's changed their career is a strong word,
Trajectory.
but it's really helped them. We had somebody who got that review last year and got into the Vail Comedy Festival this year. People really love it. I do about 50 a year, and it's been really fun. So I've done about 150 of them. In the beginning, I tell everybody you get what you pay for. It's a free, you don't pay for it, so don't expect a ton. And honestly, advice in comedy is kind of a weird thing. It's an art form. It's subjective, but I've gotten pretty good at it now that I've done 150 of them. And I even had somebody they offered and did pay me to do a video review because they heard through the grapevine that I was pretty good at it and it helped some people. So anyways, the point is apply to the Vail Comedy Festival if you want a tape review. Hopefully you get in and you don't get the tape review. But we'll probably do something similar, I would imagine, with the Mountain Fresh Comedy Festival. So we don't advertise that, but it happens.
That's awesome. That's amazing. There you go.
Yeah.
So mffreshcomedy.com.
mfcomedy.com,
mfcomedy.com.
which stands for
Okay.
Mountain Fresh Comedy Festival, which
.com.
come in October 2024.
I'll put all that in the show notes and stuff so you guys can go check it out. Thank you again, Mark. It's always great to get an email from you saying, hey, can we talk? And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So
Awesome.
much fun. Thank you everyone for listening. Please like, subscribe. Go to markmasters.co, not .com, .co.
Yep.
Go out there, sign up for his newsletter. I'm telling you right now, between him and Moom Jean's weekly newsletter that comes out, you're going to get so much great comedy advice and stories and information that it will elevate you. And then if you wanted even more, you could go over to my Substack and sign up there and get my weekly email on how to be a better comedy writer. And then I also do a little podcast there called the Funny Money Podcast that you can sign up for and get. So there you go. Thank you so much. Have a good one, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.